to the StockinetteZombies. I'm Amy, also known as Jnitma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It, and this is episode 509. We were just
Yeah,
chatting about weekend plans.
yeah.
It's supposed to be like a 80-degree swing here. Towards the positive or
Right.
warm, right? We were chatting about the weather on the Tuesday craft and chat, and Pam was talking about where she's at. There was like snow, meteorites, thunderstorms on the forecast, which is pretty amazing. Us was like negative wind chills, not getting above zero. And now, like the snow, I think it halved yesterday. And I think by the end of the day, there'll be a little bit of like that glacier top
Hmm.
crust around, but I think a lot of it's going to be melted. And then it's supposed to be like 70 this weekend, which is so,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's not even like barely. It's going to be solidly in the 70s according to the forecast. So, and with, like you said, that negative, like I think there was a -4
Hmm.
reading one morning this past week. So yeah, it's an
That's
80-degree,
not with the wind chill. Yeah.
yeah,
It's kind of
80-degree
bonkers.
swing.
We had somebody from Arizona there as well.
Oh,
And she was saying there was going to be 120, which is a record
goodness.
high there. So the heat is descending upon the full of the United States. I've got
Yes.
coworkers in Texas that were saying it was going to be 100 there. Like,
My
yeah,
Southern California cohorts said that it's going to be hot where they are.
yeah, crazy. But yeah, it's like can't remember. I always say AI is like a teenager. We're now saying Mother Nature is, potentially going through like perimenopause. We're getting some hot flashes. We're getting some hot flashes. But always fun to chat about the weather. Sometimes it seems like it's my favorite topic. I did want to call out, we had a fabulous Craft and Chat Zoom where we were talking about the PJ party. Well, sometimes, again, people were like, can I not be here? If I'm like, do you have plans? Like, you don't have to have a whip, you don't have to have yarn picked out, but do you have plans of what you want to make? And so, yeah, a handful of folks got that Zoom entry on the dashboard.
Oh,
Uh, I know.
I was working. I don't.
And I was trying to get people to use it, and they're like, "What? Why do I have to enter or something?" And I'm like, "No, you get a free entry for for joining the Zoom. Like, free entry. Please go out, use the form." Um, so yeah, that was fun. We got to talk about like a couple of diaphanous tops. Somebody's going
Ooh.
to be making a no sweat shirt, which inspired me to. I mean, I use this a lot already, but today I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I'll pull that out of the pile. It'll be a nice day for this. Is kind of like a cottony blend.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was really inspiring. I heard about a couple of like older designs that I was like, oh, that wasn't really on my radar, but I'm now interested. Yeah, somebody was holding fingering double on size 11 needles on one of the tops, and I was like, oh, that seems like it would be a really nice like spring, kind of light
Mhm.
layer, but yeah, loose gauge. So yeah, anyway, I find people and their projects infinitely inspiring. So I really appreciate people showing up to the Zoom and sharing their plans and their works in progress. So, and we did have a FO as well that somebody showed
I
off. So that
am
was cool.
really sorry I missed that. It
Mhm.
sounds like you had a lot of fun, and
Mhm.
I have been diligently working away on my school supply, and it's
Woo.
getting quite big, but still not off the sleeves. Very close, like within a row of getting those sleeves taken off.
Yeah.
So very excited for that this
I
weekend.
shared with the group there, so if they're hearing it again, I'm sorry, but like I'm like, just chugging away on these stripes on my pants. And Jeremy pointed out that I always complain about sleeves, and now I am knitting the world's widest and longest sleeves. And I'm like, you listen to me, but I don't appreciate you holding this mirror up to my face. But yeah, they're capri length now. So I'm nearing the end. I'm nearing the end, and then I'll be casting on a sweater that is not a pair, but is definitely something I'm excited about. So
Excellent. Excellent.
yeah, any other administrati? We do have a Zoom
Um,
on Sunday. Maybe we'll have windows open here and we can join from decks or whatever. But we do have actually Sunday it's supposed to cool back down in here, isn't it?
a little bit.
Yeah. But the ZKN, our Patreon members, as well as our ZK members, join. We always have a really great group on that Sunday afternoon, and it's fun to catch up and meet folks if it's for the first time, or just be reminded of that you'll be coming to ZK. Sorry, complete sentence, then move on to next sentence, or just to see how people are doing before you see them IRL. So. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard for me to believe that this is the March one and we only have the April and May one
Yeah. I gotta
before.
go check my calendar for the time on that.
Yeah, 2 p.m. Central Time.
I
Yeah,
can do that.
awesome. All
All
right,
right.
we're FOs.
Yes. So I bought the Puff Cuff pattern by Shayna Lines and started making pairs of cuff puff mittens. These are a little too small for me, so they're going to look really stretched out, but
Mm-hmm.
you can see the ridges here. And this is some 716 yarn, so it'll also get bonus points for that.
Yes,
And
love
then
those speckles.
I was able to get another pair. So this one's a little bit more my size, and you can see the pooling's a lot different on this circumference.
Yeah.
So there's that one. And then I pulled out a really fun skein from a blast from the past. This is Dancing Dog Dye Works Tastic yarn.
Oh my goodness, those are so fun.
Yeah. So these are more my size. So you can see kind of the puff part a little bit more in
Mm-hmm.
these. And maybe the crazy pattern is taking it away on camera, but in person I can see a puff here. Uh
Hmm.
and so the puff cuff, it's very simple and easy to whip up. So I have 3.5 pairs of those.
Wow.
I haven't entered yet, but using every last little bit of yarn on them, which is really cool as well.
Yeah.
So just enough to make that one last pair, and I will have two skeins out of my stash.
Huzzah.
Right.
That's almost Megan-esque of you. Like you're kind of on repeat there a
On
little
repeat,
bit.
yeah. Well, they're so portable, and
Hmm.
work up real fast. Even though it's all ribbing, it works up real fast. And there's just enough interest because the puffs themselves are kind of a delineation. So
Yeah, kind of
each
like
puff,
me
you're like,
striping, do it
yep.
yourself striping. Yeah.
But speaking of stripes, I made another pair of mittens, this time for one of Lucy's friends that's going to go to the same college. So we got
Woo!
some mittens. These are a little small for me, but should fit her nicely. And
And
yeah,
tell me about the purple.
it is Leading Men Fiber Arts. Oh,
Heliotrope?
huh? Yes, heliotrope. Thank
Heliotrope?
you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I thought I loved that purple, but now I
So,
know that I love that purple not just on camera.
well, and another great story around this is that I was looking for the right purple, and I was like so not able to focus, right? My brain was just kind of out of everywhere. I was like, Steve and Andy will have the right purple. So I wrote them an email and I said, I need Winona State Colors, gave them a link to the website. And then they said heliotrope, and I bought heliotrope. So
What
ended up
base is
buying a
that?
lot of skeins of it, huh?
What base is that?
This one is dramaturg.
Okay. So it's their DK
And
base.
but I also bought some of the showstopper base, and
Box or some.
lots of it. I think I bought 5 skeins of it because I was like, well, we need the mittens for the daughter, we need the mittens for the friend, we need the mittens or the shorts for people, and maybe a scarf. So I made sure I had enough purple to make myself something.
Yes, absolutely. Pride, have to have college pride. Was laughing about being a Badger fan or having Badger gear, even though that is very foreign to me. And I was like, at this point, I think we've given more money to the University of Wisconsin than we ever gave to my
Well,
alma
right.
mater. So
That long ago, college was pretty affordable.
it was,
So,
it was. Well, that's awesome. There's a band that we stumbled upon because they were performing at Tree Dome next to Steam one weekend when we were running. They have a song that they're because they're from Winona. So now when you talk about it, I hear Winona, Winona, Winona be lit. Winona's the
oh, okay.
yeah.
We should find that
Anyway,
song.
yes, I can send it to you. They're a pretty
Awesome.
fun band. They're a little grunge rocky.
Okay.
Know if that's anybody in your family. I know you have some in your family that are a little grunge rocky, but yeah, that's awesome. I love that you found your purple. You found a signature Winona purple.
Yes, yes. So, and I can come back to it if I ever need to. More
And they'll
heliotrope,
probably
please.
have it sent to you before you even order it because
Right.
that's their speed.
Yeah, I even went ahead and said wind for me, please, on all of them so I could start right away.
Yep.
So yep. Steve and Andy did a great job. I am excited for my Winona projects.
Yeah, the I your puff cuffs, for whatever reason, maybe people have have thought of this in the past, but I am having like the Scrubs like alternate reality sequence where you have like a little side saddle bag that you're carrying around, and you're like, "Do you have cold hands? Here's some puff cuffs,"
Oh, yeah.
because you were like saying they weren't your size, so you're just like waiting. In waiting for like somebody to be like, do you need? Oh, you have cold hands here, puff cuffs.
Well, I made the first pair for a particular person in mind, who's a tiny hands person. And then I was like, I could just make everybody in that group mitts. So I just started
Yeah.
making a variety of sizes and colors to have to, like you said, yes,
You get a puff cup and you get a
yes. Yeah, I've even
that's
picked
funny.
out another skein of yarn. It's oh gosh, uh Fiber Nymph Dyeworks. She was at our retreat one year and I bought this
Yeah.
really lovely tweedy base and I
Yeah, I
haven't
remember
used
that.
it for anything. So puff cuffs it is. I think that they'll make a very squishy pair of puff
Yeah,
cuffs. I don't know if I'll
absolutely.
have enough yardage to do two pair. But oh, and I guess another thing I can mention is I'm doing the shorty versions. So
Mm.
they look long to me, but there is one that has more repeats of the
Hmm,
puff
hmm.
cuff. So you can get longer versions in the
Oh,
pattern as well.
all right. Speaking of long mitts, I did a Love Always, which is my cowl hat, turn everything in um, mitt version, which was just casting on
Mm,
far less stitches, but following the same pattern. You can see very, very long. I plan on when I run also being able to use them as arm runners or
mhm,
arm covers. And then there's also, you saw the folded option. There's also the like, I want to make this into a closed mitten
mm,
option. Um, it's not as pretty, but it's definitely functional if you're in the middle of a run and your hands get cold.
mhm,
Yeah, really fun lavender loon colorway combined with Dames at Sea, which is a really great other leading men fiber arts. We're just like a infomercial for leading men fiber arts here today, colorway. Yeah, I threw the other thing is I threw in that thumb hole, obviously in the middle. Mine is like a fourth of the stitches basically. Um,
Mm.
and I just bound off, turned back around, cast on stitches, and then worked those stitches again for
Okay.
the thumb holes, which, yeah, you get a little bit of a gusset here. This is a pattern that has a lot of negative ease because of the basically 4x4 ribbing with the
Hmm.
motif worked in. But yeah, whew, I'm already getting warm while putting them on. They were fun. They were a fun project. Had a lot of questions as I had them on the needles with folks of like, what are those going to be
Hmm.
when they grow up? Uh, Less of like a convertible, but you could also cast on slightly more stitches and have some nice leg warmers. Um, yeah, at the with the leg warmer option, I guess you could also wear them on your hands, but they would be a lot larger, right? They wouldn't be fitted. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, I finished those before we were in our pairs era of challenge, but did get a couple of other pairs on and off the needles. So I think I mentioned maybe in whips or favorite things. I cast
Hmm.
on my treasure goddess yak yarn, which was really fun. I don't see a lot of other variegated on her website right now. There's a lot of
Hmm.
solids, but this like striped, really fun. As I
Hmm.
mentioned, I really like the fitted toe of the skew toe, and then I unbias and put a OMG heel in it, and then you can see the difference between the stripes in the knot on the bias and on the bias. And I've been wearing a bunch of socks that I did this with last year and really enjoying the fit. Like it's a nice little hug down at the bottom, but it's nice and loose up at the top. And I love the, OMG heels fit me really nice. Yeah, I guess I haven't quite made a decision in my mind whether or not this is like how I would always make them if I
Hmm.
weren't being challenged to use our designer showcase folks. But like if I just make a skew sock or not. But I am enjoying how they fit. I am enjoying the fun kind of juxtaposition when I'm wearing them of that bias on the foot and the lines up at the top. And yeah, yak base, amazing. It was so fun to work with. I'm looking forward to wearing
It's
them,
a good
although,
it's a good study in cutting on the bias and not, right? The same number of stitches,
yep,
but
yep.
you can tell that the top is bigger than the bottom.
Yes,
Yeah.
which is nice because again, I like the hug on the foot, and then I don't like the upper part of a sock being so.
Right.
So you kind of accomplish a different fit, like you
Hmm.
said, by the way that the stitches are being stretched, which is
Hmm.
nice. I didn't have to change anything of the number of stitches.
Right.
And yeah, I do a lot of mods. So this is not the full 36 down here to make this I think it ends up being 30,
Hmm.
30 wide when I stop increasing and then do the bias.
Right.
But then this is basically what the top of the leg of the skew is when you unbias it. And then I've just got a normal sock up to the point where I need to throw the OMG heel in, which again is a nice pairing because the OMG heel doesn't need like a gusset, right,
Hmm.
to get to that point. So I'm not doing a bunch of measuring. I can just go, oh, the longest part of my biased sock is where I would normally throw an OMG heel in.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's again, it's become one of my favorite things to do in a sock. Really enjoy striping, whether it's the striping of the sock normally or do it yourself striping. So I had some yarn left over with,
Hmm.
so you can see the same thing,
Yep.
but my own creation. I had some yarn left over after the end of that, and then had some Sun Valley fibers that I believe I bought minis at the Thaw, and then I bought this at ZK to work with it, but it's been sitting around for so long. I was like, I'm just going to use that solid that I bought at ZK for making of these. And again, really fun. You can see I did some thick and thin stripes
Hmm.
there I don't think I had enough to do equal stripes. So I did a
Mm.
little bit of math. There's 4 rows of the main, 2 rows of the contrast, 4 rows of the main, 4 rows of the um, contrast. So 6 to 8 was
Mhm.
the ratio that I ended up. And with the unbiasing needed to be a multiple of 2. So anyway, fun with math. Threw in a contrast heel and contrast cuff, and then the toe was a solid of the main. So huzzah for using all of this beautiful yak and pairing it up.
Cool.
And those are my pairs. My 3 pairs, 2 of which are during the March timeframe. So
Yeah, I feel like my DK weight things like worked up real quick. My socks that I have been working on are still a wish away.
yeah.
I think that the pattern was really slowing me down there. I think my next pair of those socks are going to just be a plain old sock, just so that I
Yep.
can go.
Yep. Kind of like
Um,
your puff cuff, right? Well, I guess that's got a little bit of texture. Yeah.
Texture, but it's repetitive, right? Like it's
Mhm.
not like, oh, I have to think like I'm increasing or, because
Mhm.
I made a pinwheel out of purling and stockinette. So it's like
Mhm.
all these triangles that interweave. So it's not as like mindless.
Mhm.
Um, but I am on the last repeat. So yes, very excited
You
to
got
get that
this.
done.
You got
Yeah.
this. Excellent.
And
Yeah, those kind of like your puff cuffs, those socks have just kind of been I'm not taking my unruly pants. Although I did take your suggestion of like splitting the skein. So I've got the main color of my pants split between 2. And then the green, I was like, I can split it, but I kind of want it to be one contiguous like leftover versus 2 little tiny
oh
leftovers.
yes.
So
Yeah.
I kept the green inside outside, but it still gives me autonomy to untangle with the one
Yep.
free skein that isn't connected together. So that was nice. And it's also like giving me like vibes of like, okay, we're nearing we're nearing the end. If it was all
Still
just
looks like a
one
big
big
skein
skein,
to
it
me.
would be like, am I even making a dent here? So yeah, helps. It helps.
Yeah, yeah. I do plan to knit today as well. But like I said, really want to get some productivity in. So
Yeah.
excited to head to Trader Joe's after this. And
Woo.
um,
Yeah.
yes.
Look for the goose.
Oh, I forget about that. Yeah, those are so cute.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. Excellent.
All right, bye.
Bye, Ufta. All right. It's
That felt short.
it wasn't too bad.